So we prepare now for the start of the men's heavyweight coxless pairs, with, as we can see, Turkey, Hungary, France, Great Britain, Serbia and the Czech Republic making up the finalists here at the European Championships. Turkey here in lane 1, Kazakil and Rafael in lane 1. Had to push out the crew from Romania in the repechage. Very tough race we watched them in yesterday. Crew from Hungary here in lane 2, Juhas and Simon. Here we see a very fast quality crew. Olympic silver medalists from London 2012, Chardin and Morelet. One in Bled 3 weeks ago, alongside another very fast crew, the silver medalists from the World Championships last year, Foden and Langridge from Great Britain, lane 4. And crew from Serbia, Vasic and Bedic. Won the European Championships in both 2013 and 2014. And the Czech Republic here, Podrazil and Pelezek.
I can't help thinking Murray and Bond from New Zealand will be watching this. I know they've been trying to watch World Rowing Feed and they're having some trouble getting through, but they will be very keen to watch this race, because of course these two men, the French, Morelet and Chardin, were second behind Murray and Bond in the 2012 Olympics. But of course, the men to their right, I think, the British were, lane 4. The British were second to Murray and Bond at the World Championships last year, albeit a long way back. But it's the first time that we've seen the British and French go head-to-head. And Morelet and Chardin, I thought they looked good in the first 1,000 when they won in Bled 3 weeks ago, but then didn't really deliver in the second 1,000. Their relative time was slow compared to the other boats, or one of the slowest, I think. And they will need to be on form if they're to beat the British.
And this is the first outing for this British pair. James Foden in the bow seat had a broken foot earlier in the year, had to miss the British pairs trials, so they didn't get to race against the rest of the Great Britain team. So this is the first outing of the year for them. Looked to me like the French were definitely the quickest away. The British slightly slow onto that first stroke. James Foden in the bow seat, Matt Langridge in the stroke seat.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to be fazed by the speed of the French out the blocks, because they know they're quick, or they should know they're quick. But I think by the time they come through to the 500 metre mark, it'll be pretty close between these two guys. Dorian Morelet, closest to us, the 33-year-old from the Martigues rowing club. Behind him, Germain Chardin, 32, from Verdun, again in Lorraine. And we're now looking at a shot of the field. That's the Czechs closest to you. On your left, Jacob Podrazil and Lukas Helesik on the right of your screen, lane number 6.
The British have recovered from that slightly slow first stroke and now got right up level, if not just slightly ahead. And they've got the quickest boat speed in the field right now.
That's very impressive.
Moving alongside the French,
that's
an
impressive move, isn't it? They are just toasted, the French now. As we look at Morelet and Chardin, they will not be used to being led by anyone else except the New Zealand. In fact, the French would probably be in front of the New Zealanders at this point of the race, wouldn't they? The New Zealanders come through around about 400 metres or something. But
we have certainly seen that from the New Zealand crews, haven't we? That they've got steadily into the race and really turned the power on in the second 500. But these guys can only race these here today, and the British, I think, will be very pleased with the way they've moved from about 100 metres gone through here to 500 gone. As we see Great Britain leading, France, and then Serbia in the third position at the first 500.
So through the 500 in 1:33.52. I mean, just the world record will not be troubled. Of course, 6:08 set in the heat of the London Olympics. The Kiwis went through the first quarter in 1:30.59. Would you believe? I know it's hard to believe that a pair could go through 500 in that quick, but 1:33.52. That's a 0.79 second lead for the British ahead of the French, and you can see the little graphic, Greg, that the British are still the fastest moving crew on the course from the GPS we have in the boats.
That's right, this GPS provides us with some great information that you've got the stroke rate on the left and then you've got the boat speed. Although it's up and down, the British look to the eye here like they've continued to move, and the Serbians have gone with them.
I like the Serbians. We're talking to their coach this morning, Dejan Guslov from Smederevo, as we look at, Matt Langridge, stroke of the British 8. You were rowing with him in the 2012 Olympics, as you were with James Foad behind him. Both these men in your 8 that won bronze, Greg.
Yeah, they're both great competitors, and Matt Langridge particularly a very smooth kind of rower, but he certainly applies a lot of force.
The Serbian pair closest to us, I mean, they're very smooth. The way in, they just sort of gently put the blade in, and then there's a real sort of push on it. There's nothing on the front end to disturb that boat, and they row out of Smederevo, which of course is near to Belgrade.
Yeah, it's nice to see that shot we've got there, that the blade just quietly goes into the water. Not really any backsplash or front splash as we have a look here, but it gets connected quietly, and then the force really comes on through the middle and through the last part of the stroke.
Yeah, and through the 1,000 metres, so the 1, 2, 3 through the 1,000 metres. In first place, 3:11 is Great Britain. Then it's Serbia, same mark, just 0.48 behind, and the French dropping back, 1.88 behind the British. And they would not have expected the Serbians to be this close to them. Actually, no, I take that back. Probably, I'm looking back in terms of the heat that they won, and the Serbians and the British went through. Serbians were ahead of the British at 1,000 metres in the heat, so apologies to the viewers.
Yeah, that's right. It was just only the last 500, wasn't it, where the British went away from the Serbians in the heat, having been pretty close with 1,500 gone.
Yeah, and of course Milos Vasic on the right of your screen in the Serbia, just took a look across there, was in the single scull for Serbia, came 5th in the B final in the recent Bled regatta. I think his partner was probably injured, which was why he was racing in the single there at Bled, Niad Bednik.
So we have a look here in on the British pair, and we see Matt Langridge there in the stroke seat. He's a pretty cool customer, tends to just get out there and just keep pounding away, keeping his eyes straight down the boat, letting James Foad behind him keep the eyes out to the left and to the right. And they'll, I think, be pleased with the way that they've moved ahead now of the Serbian big push that they made in the third 500 as both crews come down now towards the 1,500.
Yeah, and of course James Foad, the Molesey Boat Club man, broke his foot stepping out of his door on training camp in Aviz, Portugal, but I don't think it's affected his training too much. He was able to get on the bike and get back in the boat quickly. So the 1, 2, 3 through the 500, Great Britain, Serbia, France, Czech Republic in 4th, Hungary, and then the Turkish pair. Nice to see a Turkish pair in the A final of the Europeans in 6th place.
We're seeing now the British pair moving very smoothly. It'll be hurting, but they're able to just keep the boat moving, and it looks like they're coming up almost towards the length that they've got it in them to look to sprint towards the finish line, keeping that 38 strokes a minute that we've seen for the last few hundred metres. So
how do you read the race from now? Is that done and dusted for the British, Greg? And
it's not done and dusted, because I can see the waves just along the side of the boat and the jumpy water that they're coming into now in the last 250, and they'll be looking to put down as much for a mark as they can. They want to know if they can get ahead of the competition, which isn't there, to think about that New Zealand pair that's not here. They'll want to compare that percentage that you've been working on, as we see the French pushing on now with a bit of a sprint finish and looking to try and get into their dust up for the silver medal with the Serbians. But I think the British look, for me, strong favourites now for the gold.
Yeah, the French have got their act together in the last 500 metres, and there is enough water for them to get through the Serbians. You can
see Matt Langridge there really caught his blade in the water, really quite badly.
And maybe the French are done and dusted. No,
the French are coming right back at them. Are the British going to hang on? Can they get the boat speed back? They're going right across the lane now, and it's so close.
Do you think Langridge knows that they've just got it?
I think he won't know they've got it yet. I think at the moment they'll be completely unsure. I think this photo is going to come back. It's going to show the British by a few centimetres. But they will have to wait now as we sit here and they sit on the water. Matt Langridge will know that he did catch one of those waves, that it wasn't done, but we've seen the confirmation there. 6:27.89. They're not sure on the water, I'm sure. Serbians, we think, are going to be in third place. So we thought it was done. We did think have Great Britain got this, but we thought no, they were in some slightly poppily water, slightly uncomfortable in that last 250 metres coming up to the line. Matt Langridge there just caught his blade in the water, couldn't get it out, and slewed the boat across the lane.
Relatively slow percentage time, 95%. We've been looking at 97s and 98 for this event, Greg. Maybe that was in part due to the crab that Matt Langridge caught.
I wonder if they're going to have it caught on the camera here. Let's see if we might just see it. This isn't quite it because it was in the red buoys, but we can see they were hitting a few waves there. This could be it coming up here. Matt Langridge won't want us all to be watching this one again. No, this is them just hobbling over the line.
Yeah, I think if the director goes back, I missed it actually. I was looking for the finish and didn't have my eyes on the British.
We see it's confirmed there that it was Great Britain. The European champions ahead of France and then Serbia. So we haven't really talked much about the French, who really did recover in that last 500, having had Serbia come through in the third quarter.